I'm going to take a wild guess and assume this isn't your first video on how to improve your social skills or communication skills or whatever. I'm going to say that you have watched some videos and you found them pretty useful, they have helped, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand what they mean in the video. So like you understand the words that are coming out of their mouths, but you don't know how to apply that exactly. It's difficult. So if someone says like, ask more questions, that's all well and good, but how do you actually do that? What questions do you ask? There's so much more. And having a really good set of examples, not just a single example, which they might provide in the video, but a massive set of examples is where you can actually apply the stuff you've learned. And where am I going with this? When you copy from other people, you have that set of examples. You have an entire picture because you can picture their entire personality. Take someone you know, right? Whenever you want to learn from them, like if you're in a new social situation and you want to ask more questions, you can just remember what they did, you know, remember how they asked all these questions and just copy their questions, copy their way of asking them. Because you have this whole picture built out in your mind, it's a lot easier to map it out to each scenario. So you can copy them a lot easier. That's not to say you shouldn't watch videos. It's just, I think taking notes from stuff you're learning from people in person is actually a very underrated strategy. One time I was talking to my friend and I can't remember how we got here, but we ended up, she said something like, oh, am I like awkward or annoying or anything? And I was like, no, you're like great. You're like, I take notes on you. You're amazing socially. And she was kind of weirded out when I said I took notes on her. She was like, wait, what? Like, really? And I was like, no, not literally. Like, that would be weird. But I literally was taking physical notes on her on a notepad on the general habits she was displaying that I thought I could copy to become more charismatic, to become like her. And honestly, she is the weird one for thinking that it's weird to take notes on people. If you ask me, it's a compliment. So for the past like 8 months or so, I don't know, I've been literally taking notes on people I find charismatic and well liked. And these are the 4 habits that I've noticed that a lot of them do. And to me, they seem to be why these people are well liked. So if you copy them, you know, you might become charismatic, I don't know. And don't just take my word for what these 4 habits are. Try and observe them all yourself. And maybe you can even come up with new ones that I didn't have here. One habit of charismatic people is that they have high conversational freedom. What that means is, take this example. There's this guy who was one of the charismatic people I was taking notes on. And we were on the train just going somewhere. There was a little silence. And so he decided to pull the most random topic I've ever heard. He said, so what type of porn do you guys watch? That was pretty funny. It didn't actually lead to a conversation because no one wanted to admit it. But everyone was just laughing at him, and I think people admired how confident he was in saying that. And there was this girl there who actually had a crush on him. So, you know, even though he said something really weird, the confidence that he showed through doing that helped. And also it did allow us to have a little chuckle and a little laugh. So even if this stuff doesn't lead to a conversation, it just makes the conversation more fun. And if it does lead to a conversation, you've skipped all this small talk stuff. By just asking like an actual deep question, you've skipped to a conversation which has the potential to be really good because, you know, it's not just your average topic. It's not, oh, how's the weather? It's stuff that you haven't talked about all the time, but you want to talk about. It's like the perfect stuff. So just jump straight to that. Just ask random questions. Like, people don't really care as much as you think. And you don't have to be as bold as asking, what porn do you like? Just go slightly out of your comfort zone each time. Another habit is that charismatic people tend to talk to lots of different people. I don't mean that they're constantly switching between people and, you know, they're just not even listening when they're talking to you because they're about to go talk to someone else. I mean, they are actually having lengthy conversations with people, but they don't overly rely on just a few people. So all of these traits are spectrums, all these habits are spectrums, sorry. So this is like, they're pretty far down. They're not all the way down at the end. They don't talk to absolutely everyone. But the point is, they're not just at this little bit, this short bit, they're up here. So they're not just talking to just a few people. They're not overly reliant on people. There's not any times where they're kind of just sitting by themselves. I think you guys would agree with that, right? That seems like correct. Now, I've had to think about why this might be effective, and I've come up with 2 reasons. So one of them is that when you talk to lots of different people, it seems like you're popular and well-liked and everything because you're just chatting to everyone. And then also, because you're talking to lots of different people. All those people you're talking to are going to like you, because when someone talks to you, you like them, right? Like, it's like they're showing you attention. Out of all the people they're talking to, they picked to talk to me. A lot of these 4 things, they all seem like kind of extroverted people traits. They're not. If you actually think about it, talking to lots of different people is something that all extroverts do, but it doesn't mean that you're an extrovert, because you can just be an introvert and put lots of effort into conversation for like a short bit and then be like, oh no, I'm sick of this, I want to go home. That's fine. You can still be charismatic if you do that, so don't worry about that. Another habit is that charismatic people don't self-doubt their opinions. So when they're saying stuff like, oh, I think that abortion should be illegal. Sorry to make it political, whatever, doesn't matter. The point is that they say that with confidence. So I used to be terrible at this, like, until not that long ago. It depends who I'm with, of course, but like I would say stuff and then other people might like disagree with me. They'd be like, really? And I'd be like, I'd kind of back down a bit. I'd be like, well, yeah, I guess. But then that being said, I guess there is this counter argument. And I basically just agree with them, right? Because I'd be arguing their point. The point is, I didn't have the balls to like disagree with people and have a little debate. And that means I'm basically not my own person. I'm like one of those annoying people who just always agrees with you, you know? It's like this clip.
Steal drugs from my father? I don't want to go inside a monster and I don't want to die.
I say it's worth a shot.
Yes, I agree. Let's do it.
And not only does it make you seem unconfident, not only is it just annoying to have someone who always disagrees with you, it also means that you can't have good conversations as much, because you can't have debates, basically. If someone always agrees with you, that like cuts out half the conversation, because if you have a little back and forth, like that's like so much longer than just saying, yeah, I agree. There's nothing more to say then. So maybe be happy if you disagree with someone, because you just unlocked a good conversation and you've unlocked an opportunity to show your confidence. And the last habit of charismatic people is that they tend to have high-ish positive energy. So I'm trying to embody that right now. What that means is they're not just yapping constantly, right? But they just have this energy about them where they're happy to be there. You know, they're not tired. They're not constantly complaining. When they do talk to people, again, they don't have to be constantly yapping, but when they do talk to people, they are involved in the conversation. They react with like, you know, what's it called? Animation. They're like, when someone says something, they're like, oh, really? You know, high energy rather than just, oh, really? When they say stuff, they say it with energy as well. So if they're telling a story, they tell it in this exciting way. They don't just say what happened. They don't just talk like this. So it doesn't mean yap constantly. It doesn't mean be super over the top all the time. It just means, again, it's a spectrum, have relatively high compared to everyone else, relatively high positive energy. How do you actually improve this? Put effort into it. And also, I was mentioning, don't act like someone who's tired. Maybe just get more sleep. I don't know. I'm just saying. Get more sleep, make sure you're not super hungry when you're talking to people, and put effort into it. That's how you do it. It's not like an innate characteristic, it's something that you can improve. It's a habit. So I've noticed that charismatic people all tend to do these 4 habits, and that I think is one of the reasons they're so well liked. Those 4 habits, to summarize, are they talk to lots of different people, they have high conversational freedom, they don't doubt their opinions much, and they have high positive energy. So give all those a go, put more effort into doing those, try to make a habit out of it. And by doing that, you'll develop the underlying traits, which are being confident, being, you know, fun, all that stuff. And you never know, you may just become a charismatic person. So good luck. Real quick, I did mention that you should be like journaling this stuff, writing it down. I actually have a whole like 5 to 10 minute journaling routine which you can do, which massively improves your social skills. So check that video out, it's over there. Sleeping in a sleepless night, now the sky is overlight. I love Taylor Swift, guys. I'm gonna hope it's filming. We good. Just stressing out about whether I was filming though, it's fine. Maybe that can go on the blooper reel.